Having an underlying fear of change or an underlying fear of the unknown is pretty normal. I would say majority of people, to some extent, whether they're conscious of it or not, have a certain degree of fear to change. Biologically, we are wired to look for patterns and try to see things as predictable. We like to get into routines. We like to know what's going on in our lives. But this can really start to backfire when we find ourselves stagnant. We find ourselves in a place of wanting things to be different, but to go about actually shifting them, to go about actually making changes, tends to be really, really hard for a lot of people, mostly because there's a fear of the unknown. Now, the default mode here is that change tends to be pretty scary. The unknown, which is really what's under the surface here, tends to be pretty intimidating. Like I said, biologically, we're wired to prefer predictability. We're always looking for patterns. We're always looking to try and make an assumption on what's going to come next, what's going to happen in our lives. That is what is behind the fear of the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen, and that doesn't sit well with us because, well, what's going to be there? If I don't know what's beyond the woods, maybe there's bears in there, maybe there's lions and tigers. It's also a bit of a conditioning that we've probably accumulated to fear the unknown. But it doesn't need to be this way. You can actually embrace change. You can embrace the unknown and start to shift your feeling state relative to change into excitement rather than fear, into faith rather than fear. Deep down, there's an assumption that when we approach the unknown, things are going to get worse. But if we go about it consciously, we can actually shift our default into a state of things are probably going to get better relative to moving into some change, moving into the unknown. And all that's required for you to do this is to actually feel your emotions relative to the unknown and get to the bottom of this fear. Get to the bottom of the fact that it's not actually grounded. And once you move into a place of awareness that the ball is in your court, the decisions that you make are going to shape what the road in front of you turns out to look like, you can approach the unknown coming from a place of excitement and hope and faith that it's going to turn out even better than whatever the road behind you had. And this is really important because without this skill, whenever you find yourself in a circumstance that you want to move on from, maybe it's your professional life, maybe it's your romantic life, whatever it might be, you can consciously decide to move into the unknown, to stop saying yes to something that you don't feel aligned with anymore. And really, that's the big problem of having this fear of the unknown. That's another way to put it, is that the fear keeps us saying yes to something that we don't want to choose anymore. Remember, if you're not saying no to something, you're saying yes to it. And oftentimes it's just because you fear what is on the other side of saying no to it. So let's say you say no to your job. You decide to stop saying yes to your job. I'm going to start saying no to it. I'm going to quit, and I'm going to move on to something else in my professional life. That's scary because it's unknown. When you entertain that, it's like, no, I can't quit. I'm comfortable in my job now. It makes me my money. It puts food in my fridge. How else am I going to do that? Well, there's a million other jobs out there, and you can choose any one of them. Any one that you set your mind to, you can obtain. And, I'm not saying you have to quit your job and go be unemployed for 6 months. Maybe you can line up a new job first. But you have to be willing to step into the unknown. You have to be willing to take a chance on that new job. You think, yeah, but what if I don't like it? Well, you don't like the one that you're at now anyways. So you might as well step into the unknown on faith that it's going to get better. And in my experience, anytime I've stopped choosing something that does not align with me, I'm taking a step into the unknown, it has never let me down. Even if it lets you down at first, there's nothing that says you have to stop at the first place that the surprise bus gets to, we'll say. Trying to paint a picture here. Like, let's say when you decide to move into the unknown, you get on a bus, but you don't know where it's going to take you. The first stop that it arrives at, if you don't like that place either, you can keep going. And like I said, the unknown has never let me down. And logically, it makes a lot of sense too. When you stop choosing something that you're not aligned with, that it doesn't feel like a hell yes, move forward with a feeling, from a feeling state of excitement and faith into the unknown. Maybe there's some fear there too, but you take that leap anyway. You are taking an active role in designing a life that you want for yourself. So how could it be worse off than where you were? Change does not have to be scary. At first, when you decide that you are going to stop being afraid of change, you're going to stop letting it paralyze you in taking action, and you go about making some changes in your life, sure, you might still experience some fear, but like I said, try to get grounded in the fact that that fear is simply conditioned culturally and wired biologically, but it's not grounded. You're not moving into a forest not knowing if there's bears there. Recognize that it's actually more of a contextually appropriate reaction to have excitement and faith that it's going to work out, because you're choosing something better for yourself, even if you don't quite yet know what it is or how it's going to turn out. And the proof is in the pudding, and that really is what's going to solidify change not being scary anymore. Because after you take the leap and you step into the unknown and you willingly make changes a few times, you're going to see that it really does work out for the better. And then you have proof of concept here. And then you have proof of concept here. And then faith isn't even necessarily required anymore, because like you have proof that taking a step into the unknown is a good thing. So it doesn't have to be scary. The future doesn't have to be scary. Stepping into the unknown, embracing change does not have to be scary. This is a paradigm that many people are locked in, and it would really, really, really make your life a whole lot easier if you were able to embrace the unknown and embrace making changes with excitement and faith. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more. And I also have a few links in the description down below. If you want to work with me, you can book a free coaching call using the booking link in the description. And I also have a free life audit workbook. It's a great resource. Highly recommend you grab that. Also completely free in the description down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.